Good morning, traders. Today we're going to show you how we locked in $1,100 trading one stock. Welcome, traders. So let's break down the one stock that we traded today and the one stock that helped us lock in $1,100. So the stock today was IMNN. There wasn't really any good material news, so I decided to take a short on this ticker. Now, the first move is usually what I like to trade, which is this pop here. Unfortunately, I missed out. And also, this move down after the push to $2.32 was on very low volume. And because it was on such low volume, I knew there was going to be a lot of liquidity problems. So that's why I left it alone. And today was almost a no trade day until about 9 a.m. And I saw the stock pushing back up again. So this setup was really clean because once this push happened, it went to $2.32, made a double top, and immediately rejected. Now, this is a 1 minute chart, and you can see here that this candle here happened on only 110,000 shares. So according to my stats, I know that after this push, and it started from about $2.14, it will drop to a certain level. And in this case, it dropped to $1.72. Now, you can see that there was no volume and it slowly grinded back up to $1.91. This is a real big problem for people who actually shorted this because without liquidity, and if you look at the bottom candles where the volumes are, without liquidity, they have no exit. Nobody is selling them shares so they can cover. So they have to create liquidity again. And this happened when they bought and pushed the stock all the way back up to $2.32. This move here trapped more long and breakout traders. And at the same time, it took out early short sellers because if you're in this stock and you see this liquidity, you need to get out. You're probably break even or small loss. And this area here, which in my mind at the time is going to prove a solid consolidation area to let early short sellers exit while trapping new long traders. Now, if I was wrong, I was only risking about $2.10. That's the only reason why I didn't short at $2.10. I saw this rejection around $2.10 and it popped and broke out above $2.10 a few times, but I wasn't too worried because if you look at the candlesticks, this red candle here is the biggest red candle of the day. And I thought, because this is the biggest red candle, along with this candle, I know that a lot of short sellers are in this area here. So if this breaks out on solid volume, then I know I need to get out. But if you look at the chart, you can see a descending red candle and the stock is actually fading. It's a different story if you see a series of descending volume candles and the stock is not fading. It's very clear here that you can see descending candle, stock is fading, but it's holding support around $1.90. On the daily, support is about $1.71. And there's a mini consolidation area here, but $1.70 to $1.90 is roughly the bottom level of support. So with that in mind, I knew that because this stock fits my criteria for my strategy and it does not have a tremendous amount of volume, I know I can short into this. So I started my short around $2.02. I'm not sure what I got filled at, but approximately I started shorting around $2. So at $2, I took a short in these candles. And once it finally broke down and it showed to me that it is actively rejecting the $2, and we're gonna look at the 1 minute chart as well. So you can see here that it's basing out at around $1.91 and it's slowly basing down and is slowly breaking down. So I knew based on my strategy and based on my stats that I can short into this. You can see the $2 level right here and it's actively rejecting it. Every time it pops back above, it closes below the $2 level. Now you also have to keep in mind there are some wicks here and it is holding support. But because I know how much roughly these will fade to, I was very confident it was going to break down. So I shorted at $2 and I added on the breakdown in this area here below $1.90. Now that was really aggressive, but in my mind, if it closes above $2, I'm all out. Now, The stock was actively showing to me that it was rejecting $2 and did not want to be above $2. So that's why I know shorting on this breakdown with an average above $2, I can withstand chop and churn if it happens. So that's what I did. I shorted at $2. I added into my position about $1.92 to $1.94. And on this breakdown, I covered all my position in the 175 to 180 range. Now, you can see from the chart that it actually trends lower to a low of about $1.59, but you have to remember that this stock has daily support at $1.70. I wanted to get out before it hits $1.70. So that's what I did. I covered in this bottom right here, all my position around 175 to 180. I knew there was a very high likelihood that this stock would fade below $1.70 momentarily. I don't think it would have actually stayed below $1.70. And I guess we're looking at the chart right now, so we can see that it slowly grinds up. But this is a very common occurrence and a very common pattern that I actually track. So the stock will actually fade below support, which is $1.70, and slowly grind up. And that's exactly what I was worried about. I didn't know if it was going to tap $1.70 and then start grinding up, or break down below and then start grinding up. So you can see when the market opened on these two candles, they are high volume red candles. But afterwards, it slowly grinds all the way back up to $2. And this is exactly what I was afraid of, because when the stock lacks liquidity, this is exactly what happens. I had about 4,000 or 5,000 shares, and I did not want to be stuck holding something like this. Something like this happened to me earlier in the month, TKLF, and because of that, I was very cautious on this stock, and I had to lock in the profits early. So let's break down where my entries and exits were. Okay, so I just turned on where my entries and exits arrows are for trade 0. And as you can see, I shorted into this $2 and I added into this breakdown at about $1.92 to $1.94 area. And on these flushes, you can see right at VWAP, I started covering very aggressively. And my last exit was $1.76. So right before the market opened, you can see that after I got out, it actually made a push back to $1.83, rejected the 20 moving average, and when the market actually opened, it flushed down to $1.60. Now you can see from this candle right here, the volume was roughly about 200,000 shares. Now this is a lot of volume for this stock, given the fact that it only has 3 million shares traded on the day. And you can see after it makes this bottoming wick, it slowly grinds up. And because this morning I was not sure whether it was going to fade to $1.70 and then grind up or below, I made sure to lock in the profit and take what was given to me instead of holding for the breakdown. Because if it didn't break down, my average was not good enough. You have to remember that when you short a breakdown, you need to actively be aware that your average is not as good as shorting the reversal. So you want to be taking profits quicker. And you have to know that if there's a chance it's going to slow grind back up, you should probably lock in your profits. And that's what I did today. We locked in the profit. We didn't care that it went down below, because you can see right now, it's still $1.80 by $1.82, and it's on SSR now. So because it's on SSR, it's going to have a harder time for this to continue fading. It's holding 20 moving average, holding VWAP, and there is no liquidity, exactly as we predicted, and exactly the same trap that we want to avoid. Because without liquidity, this one actually pushed all the way back up to $1.98, $2 area, rejecting it, and finally fading back down only to $1.80, which means this stock does not have liquidity anymore, and it's going to be very difficult for short sellers to exit their position. Now you can see there was a mini drop, but look at that spread. The ask is staying the same. The bid went down, but if you look at the volume on this candle, it's only on 6,000 shares. It's very difficult when the 5-minute candle only shows 6,000 shares. There is no liquidity, and it is going to be a very difficult day for short sellers to cover and for people to trade this stock. So We made sure we didn't fall into the same mistake and the same trap that caught us off guard last time, and we locked in $1,100. This was all thanks to our stats and our discipline and understanding where we should be covering. So that's all for today, guys. It was a very slow morning, and this is the only stock that I traded. So we're locking it in, $1,100, and I'll see you guys in the next video.